What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Celeste Family Zoo. My name is Chris Celeste, and in this video, we're going to show you how to set up a vivarium for crested geckos. Alright, so to get this thing started, we're going to have to definitely get our supplies together. So I'm going to show you, give you a quick rundown of the supplies that we're going to be using that you could also use to build out your glass vivarium, naturalistic vivarium. That way you can also give your gecko a very comfortable and enriching environment for them to thrive in. So the very first thing that we're going to need whenever we're building any kind of enclosure for an arboreal lizard like a crested gecko is plenty of things to climb and hide inside of. And so we like to use a lot of these big bulky fake plants that they can really wedge themselves up inside of. And actually many mornings that's exactly where we find them. They're all wedged in there, hiding themselves in there, very comfortable, very snugged in there. And they all have like their special spot that we usually find them inside of each of their enclosures. The very next thing that we're going to be putting in are branches, vines, different climbing things that they can go onto, as well as some plants. We have small plants going into this enclosure. We have some bigger ones in other ones. We like to try and use a lot of the fake plants here at first. We just started getting into more of a bioactive style build. The first one is actually the one behind me that you can see. We're going to be featuring it in a different video. However, this one is just going to stick with the plastic. So we have all our fake plants, all our fake vines, and as well as our fake twigs. And so we're going to be putting those all in, as well as some substrate, which we're going to be using the repti bark that you see here on the chair. And then also we have a little food dish that actually came with the enclosure when I got it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I'm going to be showing you guys in a different feeding video what I prefer to use. But this is what we have, and this is what we're going to show you here today.
Alright, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is put in our substrate. So I'm going to cut open the bag here and dump in a very thin layer for now of the repti bark that I showed you. I like the repti bark. It holds moisture well. It looks very clean. It fits into the aesthetics of the enclosure very nicely. And then I'm just going to do that thin layer for now so that I can decorate it. And then once I'm done decorating it, kind of backfill in it. I find this to be a little bit more convenient, a little bit more effective for me, and then a little bit less messy. So let me just spread this all around really quick, and then we will get to decorating with plants. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is start with the broader leaf plants. These specific ones I got from a local hobby store, and if you try to take them out of the pot they're in, it destroys the plant almost completely. So I just leave them in and place them towards the back so I can hide them a little bit better. And then the geckos absolutely love these because they have these big broad leaves and they can sleep on them. So definitely don't want to leave these out. The big branches come next. And this specific one I also got from the hobby store. I was able to kind of snap it in half and turn it into 2 branches. I really like this specific one because it's very rigid. And so it will hold the weight of the gecko very well. They can climb on it, you know, hang from it, do whatever they want to do with it, enrich themselves. And then once I take a second here and just bury everything a little bit more, it'll really hold in place. And then the geckos will have plenty of structure to climb on and play on. Alright, now let's just spread this out a little bit so it's not just one giant pile here in the front. I'm going to be adding more after I add the rest of the decorations, but definitely want to bury the rest of this here. This vine is pretty cool. I like to use it to obstruct the view. You'll see after I add everything in and I hang the vines from the side how I do it, but really they don't really climb on this very often. It kind of bends and falls, so more for decoration than it is for utility. Next up, just to add a little bit of color, I'll add in these flowers. I don't really see the geckos hiding them very often or you really use them, but it just adds a pop of color and I like adding them in. Alright, next up we're going to be putting in the hanging vines from the walls. Before I do that, the suction cups don't really stick very well unless I wet it down first. And I find if I do it this way, it'll stick for a good week before I need to reapply. And by then I'm going to clean the tank anyway, so it works out really well. And so I'll stick them up here towards the top and then drape their vines over the structures and other vines and plants and things I put in there. Really creates a lot of hiding places and obstruction of view. Alright, and since I've already got everything sprayed down, I'm going to stick the food dish on. Like I said, the suction cups work much better if everything's moist first. I don't really enjoy this one, as I've said. The dishes that come with it are flimsy and large and just really don't work well. However, In a different video, I'll show you what I prefer, but for now, this is what came with it, and so I'm gonna put it all together to show you. All right, so now so far we have the food dish, the vines, some fake plants, some more of the branches, and let's keep going. We'll end up throwing this one over here on the right, another quick spray here on the back, and we will attach our final pieces. Nice vine back here as well, covering all the walls except for the door, giving them plenty of place to hide, climb, and voila. Lights on, tons of places to hide, climb, be a part of. I love those leaves back there. They sleep in them all the time. And then they just kind of just enjoy it. I love seeing them up here eating, climbing, playing.
All right, enclosure's all clean, put back in its place. We still got 2 more in their bins. We're gonna be putting those in their enclosures here in just a minute, feeding them, giving them all the water, moisture. I'll show you what I do here on this one, and then I'm gonna do it for the rest as we go. And then I might just do a quick pan of the room and show you all of them once all the lights go down. That way they're actually out eating. You can see them, otherwise they're just gonna be hiding and it's gonna be kind of pointless. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna pull out Cake, because this is Cake's home, and we're gonna put him back in. So, here we go. Let me grab him. All right, Mr. Cake. Going back into his home. Go ahead, bud. Go ahead, buddy. He is in. All right, let's give him some food and give him some water. Right, some trusty gecko diet. I like to put a pin in the top to keep it from clogging up, but here we go. And just give him a little bit of some Pangea, and then I'll stick it right up in here. Clip it right in for them, and they will climb up and eat that as soon as the lights go off and I am no longer filming, but I'm gonna sneak in later and grab them so you can see it. So as I mentioned, I'd get a quick video, little capture of them once they're all in. And so right here we have Craven back inside his 18 by 24 Exoterra, one of the Buddha style ones. I'm going to be changing out that background in a future video. We have Mr. Ormy, who is very, very curious right now about the beetle that is crawling across the back of his enclosure. He actually has a stick in his mouth. Looks like he probably tried to catch one. So he'll be spitting that out here shortly and going back after it. He is quite the little hunter, even though he's got his Pangea right there. And then over here we have Mr. Cake. He is hanging out up in the corner here, just chilling. And then in here is Flame, who is Caden's, and he does not yet have his glass enclosure, so he still lives in here, but we keep it very well cluttered and climbable, so he feels safe and secure as well. Everyone's fed, watered, and we'll close out with Mr. Ronin Rex being a ham, chilling on his log, trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to feed him again. The dude is always hungry and has the best personality. So, more to come in the future when we see you guys in the next one. Peace.